Fresh ragu meat. I mean, I hope not. I hope you don't, you know.
This is the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. This week, we're going to have a party, a boarding party. And this broadcast Astromech, which will be coming along for the ride, is EPC 236. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hi, Max. It's going pretty well. I want to tell the chat room that I was talking with Max the other day, and he said that when he orders pizza, when he calls the pizza place, he says he wants a 747, you know, a large plane. You should see the look on your face.
That was great.
Party on, Max. Yes.
That was great.
We had a fantastic MFN tonight. We went into Gods from the Machine, and we went and took a look at Tithe. We actually downed Tithe, and then we decided we would go and take a look at the second boss, and they're the sisters, and we downed them as well on a very dramatic, you know, one person standing at the end, a merc, Osh, and yeah, that could have gone so wrong, but it went so right. Anyway, that was fun. So go MFN. And also, yes, we talked a lot about Conquest last week. I did do Conquest last week on 2 characters. And I was messing around on Monday. I went and looked at the vendor, the Conquest vendor. I didn't buy a companion compendium because my reasoning is someone explained to me, like B. Kavanaugh, that it's basically the same cost as just buying gifts. It's just costs it, but then you have like 20 or 30 minutes to give them all. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it seems like, yeah, so I didn't buy that. But I did buy every single one of the decos. So there.
Yeah, it's more expensive.
Now I have to decorate my
It's more expensive than doing the gifts individually. But there's
Is it more expensive?
Well, I
know it's really close.
Yeah, I think with the dark projects that you have to turn in with it, it ends up being more expensive. But there's a
right, yeah,
time
absolutely.
saving.
With the dark, I forgot about that. Yeah, and then the time,
Yeah.
like so, same amount of credits, half an hour of time versus 3 dark projects and having to do Conquest personal target. Although I don't know if you have to do the personal target anymore because. Well, we'll have to verify that, but people have been telling us that the vendors are still on the fleet. Anyway, yeah, so Conquest. I probably will do Conquest this week. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, so our reasoning on MFN for doing some of Gods from the Machine instead of doing Conquest targets this week is that we wanted to give our ops teams that are trying to get Isaacs down a little break, so now they have a lockout. They don't have to do Tithe and the sisters, and they can go right to Nahut and Skyva, so save some time, and they can have more attempts on Isaac. So
exactly.
That was Max's reasoning, which was brilliant, I thought. Well, actually, Stavis is the one who brought it up first, but yeah. Max made it happen.
Stavis did bring it up. Yes, yeah, I thought that was excellent. We had multiple people who had never seen those bosses before. So we did it with 16 people. It was fun. I had not done it with 16 people with either of those bosses, so everybody was getting achievements. We got to mess around with in there. We got to tell the story of what's going on, explain the fights, that kind of thing, watch the cutscenes. And we got through both of those first 2 bosses. That was pretty cool. And so that was certainly fun. I also did Conquest this week. I did it on 1.5 characters. I probably could have pushed it and done it on 2, but I just really focused on the Imperial side.
Who cares?
And I don't really care about the personal target. We did it enough though that so what they did is they changed the goals. We'll talk about this in the news, the changes that went in, but it was enough for us to make our guild small guild target, even though we didn't make it by Sunday night. Because they cut the goal in half, and then we ended up above the line. When we logged in this morning, so that was
that was
fine.
a little.
That was nice.
I didn't really expect that, but that was like a little,
little bonus.
Nice little additional thing. Yeah, a little bonus.
Got some more got some more encryptions for our flagships, guild ships, so that's cool. I also had a little bit of fun. I got pulled into another group outside our guild. So Dr. SWTOR, who is in our guild but is also is in other guilds, pulled me into a group that had a lockout. Well, actually, I had the lockout. So that whole group had been working on Isaacs. So let me start from the beginning.
That's why they wanted you.
So in the beginning, the solar system was a large swirling mass of gas and dust. Then the planets formed. So I ended up having a lockout, which got us all the way to Isaacs. We still had to do the trash leading up to Isaacs. That does reset if you have the lockout. This team had been working on Isaacs multiple nights throughout the week. This was on Saturday night, and we went in there, and really it was about 2 hours, 2.5 hours just on Isaacs. Each attempt is like 15, 16, 17 minutes. It is a long fight, but
yeah,
by the end of the night, this is what I saw, which is, spoiler, this is what the scene looks like after Isaacs is dead. So I got a kill in Isaacs, which was quite exciting and interesting. Maybe at the end of the podcast or in the post show, I can show you the big statue that you get to buy from the vendor. If you kill Isaacs, there's a vendor out there that you get to buy a special statue from. And it is huge. It is a giant statue.
Now you can submit a picture and possibly get 500 million credits, right?
I could.
Or is that for hard mode Isaacs?
No, that's for any Isaacs kill. If you do it in veteran mode, that's for Bad Feelings podcast. And if you do it in veteran mode, they enter you 2 times. However, I replied and said, but Isaacs doesn't have a butt for me to submit a picture of, Brian. Instructions
Please
unclear.
advise.
I don't know what to do. That's my only reply to them so far. But yeah, all of the people that are doing that should take a look at that Bad Feelings podcast challenge, which involves, that whole challenge was some help from another guildie of ours who's in other guilds as well. Sakik, I think, is working with them on that challenge in a big way.
Yeah.
So that is cool. So that's what I did. But I think other stuff has been going on as well.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
Amongst the other things going on, which we talked a little bit about last week in very calm and measured tones,
we were very calm and measured last week.
Updates to Conquest. They have made some of the changes that they talked about to back off from where the apparently random changes that they made. I gotta stop. They made some changes to Conquest this week. So if we look at what they did, they lowered the personal target. It was 25. They brought it down to 15. They also lowered the guild targets. So what was 400K is now down to 200K. This target going down to 200K for the guild target is what we mentioned this morning. Our guild was about 250K when we logged in this morning. This reset gave us credit then for making our guild target last week. So we got extra encryptions for the people that had made their personal target, which was nice.
Yeah.
So other things that we saw in the commentary about the changes that they made was these aren't necessarily the final changes. Oh, it was 20K and it's now down to 15K for the personal target. Thank you, B. Kavanaugh, in the chat room. But they said these aren't necessarily all the changes. In 5.9, they may be making further tweaks or even leading up to that. So we don't know exactly what those might be, and they're still thinking hard about how those should work, for one. For two, there was some clarification because a question was asked. This week, the Conquest target theme is Total Galactic War, and there's 3 planets to choose from. It doesn't really seem like Total Galactic War when there's only 3 planets, for one. And for two, the challenge with there only being 3 planets was Total Galactic War was an opportunity for smaller guilds to get a planetary win. It's very difficult to get a planetary win. We tried it last Total Galactic War and came close, just ended up picking the wrong planet. And even though we had 10, 12 million conquest points, which would have won like 3 or 4 other planets, the one planet that we thought was unpopulated had a bigger guild that jumped in there and beat us out. But it's a really good opportunity when you have 14 planets available for smaller guilds to pick an uninteresting planet and win the planet and get a planetary win, because that's an achievement in and of itself. You can't really do that anymore. Now you're going to have 3 guilds on all of Starforge that are going to win here, and it's always going to be some of the big guilds. So these big guilds, we've seen them all before. Courageous, You Ain't Sith. These are some of the bigger conquest guild. I mean, look here, Unchained Wrath already has 1.1 million conquest points, and the next highest guild, in the large category has 200K. So obviously they know what they're doing. They've got a lot of people that are participating. They know how to put up the points, and they're doing it hardcore.
And the kind of funny thing about this is last week when people were complaining about the changes, if they had known about this change, they would have been complaining about it. I mean, because this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, within Conquest. I mean, first you have to accept that Conquest is a big deal, which is maybe it's not, but yeah, I mean, this is a huge change.
Right. So.
And again, makes me ask the question, what behavior are you hoping to incent with these changes? What is it you want us to do?
For one. And for two, have you thought about all the unintended consequences? I mean, they still could have gone, I got the idea of small, medium, large, and that was, that's a solid design, and I like that piece of it. And you can see what they were going after, and that's cool. But here, I think all they did was small, medium, large. Okay, well, we'll just change all of every week then to be small, medium, large. Well, the unintended consequence especially for a week when you had 14 planets was now you're back down to 3, and Total Galactic War doesn't even make sense. And nobody's ever going to win a planet ever again.
Well, when they first said small, medium, large, I'd thought there would be an array of planets that were small, an array of planets that were medium, and an array of planets that were large. And last week when it was just 3 planets, I thought that was just, this particular event. But this is crazy. This is like we only have room for 3 planets on the UI, so that's what we're gonna do.
Look at this. Doesn't this look like a scroll bar on this side that just isn't being used at this point?
Yes, it does.
So I don't know. Okay.
And I mean, I think I might have mentioned this last week, but then they came after the fact with this post about what their goals were, but the post didn't actually say what their goals were. It said things like crafting was too easy, so we made it harder. I mean, what does that mean? Crafting is too easy. Why is that a problem?
And we want the game to be more of a headache for players. I mean, is that your overarching vision?
I mean, if the problem was crafting is too easy, I mean, that's not the problem. The problem would be and because of that, then nobody's playing Conquest because it's too easy, or I don't know. Are they want more people to play Conquest or fewer people to play Conquest, or I don't know. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm shrugging right now.
Yes.
You can't see me, but I'm shrugging.
Shrug. So that's Conquest. We could potentially see more changes. We could potentially see clarifications. We could potentially see them publish their Conquest manifesto, which makes everything clear. We'll have to hold our breath. What else changed this week,
But
Sima?
Before we leave Conquest. Okay, we can leave Conquest. No, I want to say at this point about, once per legacy per day. I still think that's not right. Because what are they wanting us? Are they saying, okay, we don't want you to... Are they saying they want you to log in every day? Is that what they're saying? Because if you want to do an alt, you can't sit down for an hour and do a flashpoint on your main and a flashpoint on your alt. You have to sit down for a half an hour and do a flashpoint on your main, and the next day do a flashpoint on your alt.
Right.
So is that the behavior they're after?
I I think again, I think it's unintended consequences going after potentially a design goal of something like, well, in order for guilds to be competitive, we don't want people to feel like they have to, or even give them the opportunity to have to do conquest on 15 alts, otherwise your guild can't even make its guild target. So if we make the guild target 200, but really focus everything on just sort of like one-time activities, and everybody just does those one-time activities, then everybody can sort of be in conquest, but not have the headache of having to do 15 alts. However, some people like to do multiple alts, for one. For two, some people might mess up and do some of these things on one character and some on another. And then if you do that, then you're really messed up because you can't do repeatable stuff on two characters. Number three, and they've said this, and these are, again, these are things they claim that they're looking at. Some people might have a character in two different guilds, or might have a Republic side and an Imperial side. And now I've got to, get my 15K at 200 points a time doing, Galactic Starfighter because I did this other stuff. I accidentally did all of the other big point stuff on my other character. What am I going to do then? So it's either unintended consequences or consequences that they aren't, they do intend but just are shrugging their shoulders at, or we don't know.
Right.
Because, again, there could be an answer to the question. When you go after this from a design perspective, you say, how might we? How might we make it so people don't feel like they have to do it on multiple characters? Well, we could say you pick one character for each guild that you're going to participate in, and that's the character that you go after, and only points from that character count. Or so, I don't know, there's multiple ways to do it, but then you got to think through the consequences and alternatives. Anyway, Conquest is fun. Let's do more Conquest. How about the cartel market, Seema? That seems like it's pretty easy to keep everyone happy, and nothing could ever go wrong there.
There is cartel market news. So there's a new pack. It's called the Ultimate Pack. It has 4 slots, and 3 of them are basically like Grand Chance Cube slots, so they can be from anything that's ever been in a pack. And then the third one is like a crystal die or a gift or something like that.
Yep.
And so basically, with this pack, the RNG is vastly increased, right? So they also did a change to the cartel market where they're going to offer more things for direct sale. So that allows you to buy things more directly that would be like 0 RNG on that. So they've kind of done, I don't know, this could be like an attempt to balance. Like, so we offer this direct sales, but to kind of counter that, we're making packs even more random.
Yes.
So maybe that's, and that might work. I mean, maybe that's going to achieve kind of a balance and people will be happy with that. Kind of depends on if people really can find the things that they want to buy on the direct sale.
Yeah.
And speaking of direct sale, there is a sale coming up starting on April 3rd.
Yep. 3rd to the 17th. It will run for a limited amount of time, and almost everything that's ever been on the cartel market will be available for direct sale and not out of a random pack.
And they did say they're going to have more limited time events like this. So even though this is like, if you want to buy something, if there's something on your list you've had for a long time, you need to do it within this sale. I mean, similar sales or different sale events will be happening as we go forward in the future.
Right.
Eric also said that he agrees that we're overdue for a Legacy Unlock sale. I mean, I actually am more excited about Legacy Unlock sales because there's,
that's what I would be hoping for. I doubt I'm gonna buy anything from the direct sale. I've been burning cartel coins, buying packs to give away to people. So, but I still have a nice chunk. But I'm not like dying to get the Kylo Ren lightsaber or anything. So, but the Legacy Unlocks, that's fun because when you do get something, and I get a lot of things off the GTN, I like to Legacy Unlock them, and again, don't want to burn every cartel coin I have. Just like I say, unlocking that stuff.
Right, right. Yeah, I spent a bunch of cartel coins last time. They had legacy unlocks on sale. But they kind of replenish over time. Last thing is about the cartel market is these dark honor guard weapons. So they're available for direct sale. Not cheap though. Not cheap.
Right. So I think these are a big deal to some people. Delphi put up some videos of what they look like. Here's some of the dark honor guard. This is the unstable lightsaber. It's got a little weird, like sort of Kylo Ren-ish guard there, which looks sort of cool.
Yep.
I think some people are interested in these. Seem fine to me. Nothing that I have to have, but they're pretty cool. But if you want those, do not buy an Ultimate Cartel pack because you'll get like a 1 in 500 chance to get it.
Yeah, right.
Because
yeah,
remember, these Ultimate Cartel packs have 3 slots. One slot that has garbage, just dies or whatever, or Jawa junk, and 3 slots that have a chance to get anything that's ever been in a cartel pack before. Which means if you're looking for the new stuff that was supposed to come in this month's pack, you got like a 1 in 500 chance to get out of one of these packs. You could buy a hyper crate and get nothing out of the current packs. What you would think would be the current set of new things. So that's a little weird. Again, not something to rant about too much, but a little weird. An unintended consequence. The direct sale would be the way to get that. If there's something you definitely want, that's something I would recommend then taking a look at. Don't spend your 5,400 credits to get the hyper crate to hope you get a thing, because you won't. Spend the 5,000 credits and get the lightsaber you want, and then you're good. You're golden.
You're golden.
Guild news. As Seema mentioned, we did specifically do those first 2 bosses of Gods from the Machine on a bunch of characters that then has us have a little bit of an unlock. Our wish list on, for multiple years now has been to be able to extend lockouts on operations. In lieu of that, we did this little trick this week where we now have 2 bosses dead, and our 3 ops teams on the Imperial side will now be able to go back in there on their regular ops nights, because the most any of our ops teams, I think, does is 2.5 hours in a night. Our ops team on Thursday only does 2 hours with a hard stop. So this will allow our teams to now go kill Nahut, go kill Skyva, and then get some significant time to work on Isaacs. So that is pretty cool. And I would love to have some guild firsts popping up pretty soon. And we'll put some decorations on the guild ship as soon as that happens. How about MFN?
Next week, April 3rd, MFN is going to be on the Imp side.
Yes, it is. And
we probably will try to pick something Conquest focused next week.
Yeah. And going forward, we're going to sort of align where we focus Conquest with whatever side we're focused on for MFN. So that means this week and next week are Imperial weeks, and the following week will be a Republic week for both Conquest and MFN.
Right.
Cool. All right. Kemval, what are we doing tonight?
Jinasiwe ja alaize nam nadize. Ustaupain ICJ in alam is frumadine habans.
Well, that's very interesting. I'm fascinated. So what Kemval has told us is we are now up to the opportunity, although we were finishing up Hoth, and I think we have like 5 minutes left to go on Hoth, but we decided we would take a little break and see if we can embarrass ourselves in another Flashpoint as our little playthrough this week. We are
party on, Max.
We sort of skipped both before and after Terrace and Quesh. The couple Imperial side flashpoints, which are around this, are quite interesting. So this is Boarding Party and Foundry. On the Republic side, it's Terrell 5 and Maelstrom Prison. These are both quite important flashpoints, and I would certainly recommend doing them. They are part of the the leveling experience that starts the Revan story. That Revan story concludes in the Shadow of Revan expansion, but this is where it starts. And this actually is a continuation of the Revan stories from all of the previous lore and story that had come in Knights of the Old Republic games prior to Star Wars The Old Republic Online MMO. So really, really cool stuff. Revan's an iconic character. I could see Revan being added into actual canon and, being talked about or coming up in the real movies. I think he's a strong enough character from that perspective. I think they could make a whole movie about the Revan story even. So this is some good stuff to get into and check out. And we're going to kick it off with a little bit of a boarding party. Party on, Seema.
Party on, Max.
So let's get in here. Start this conversation.
We have the Republic ship immobilized by a tractor beam. It's alongside us now, and we've connected docking clamps to the airlocks. The boarding parties are waiting on you.
All right. I turned the volume down of the game just a little bit this week because mostly in Flashpoints you're mostly shooting and shooting and shooting. We can turn it up once we get to anything interesting, but let's zone in. And I thought also what we could actually talk about this week instead of ranting about whatever topics might come to mind is talk about where we're at with Gods from the Machine from a whole, and then maybe a little bit spoilery, but I can talk a little bit about the Isaacs fight because now I've seen the whole fight and had not seen the whole fight until this weekend. So it was sort of fun to go through it and learn it. Wait, is this combat support droid? We do get combat. Why do we get combat support droids now?
Because we pick solo mode.
No, it was story or veteran. There was no solo mode.
I mean, but story is solo.
So what did we do with Katamimu where we wiped?
I don't know. We probably, I don't know. But it's going to be really embarrassing if we wipe now.
No, it is too. Yeah, I better shut my trap.
Because there's like 6 of us here.
I know. It's like an ops team. If we could take these guys into EV, you and I could clear EV. Which they should let us do.
They should.
Where are we doing? All right, we got to go through here. All right, so to kick it off, it's been a long journey to get us all of Gods from the Machine. Look how these guys are like lined up.
Yes, it has.
That looks very like they're waiting for Darth Vader to come through. Oh, came on. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't pull. Oh, I think these guys just start shooting. No. What do you feel about the journey? I think it certainly took a long time, but how do you feel like the ops feels now? Does it feel done? Does it feel like a complete operation? How's it sort of feeling to you, and what's your sense of Gods from the Machine, Seema?
I mean, the battle noises are really loud for me. Sorry.
My battle droids in your ears. I will. Oops. Didn't mean to turn them off
the battle noises are. I can't hear myself talk when we're fighting. So
yeah, no, I'm going to turn them down even a little bit more because, as I said, in a Flashpoint, it's just a lot of pew pew.
Yeah. I do think it feels finished, and I do like the story of it, even though I don't understand it. But I like the sort of things that Skyva says that are kind of obtuse and motherish, but she's can't. We talked about this before the show tonight, but she can't really be. She's not really a mother, but she has kind of a mother role. Yeah.
I almost said biological mother when we were talking about it in ops
right.
team, and
but like
that doesn't. Really work.
She's trying to keep tithe from doing his thing, which we never really find out why she's trying to keep him from.
Yeah, and the Nahut,
she's trying to
she tries to rein both
she's
of
trying
those
to talk
in,
and, or Nahut, yeah.
And yeah.
I do feel like too. If you remember the early days of Ravagers, that was, persistent bugs that they tried again and again to fix and couldn't fix. It's not like that. I mean, there might be
Good
tweaks
point.
and bugs that I don't know about, but there's nothing that is making us restart, leave the instance, come back, hope that it works this time. There's nothing like that.
Yeah, the Koratani hell that
Yeah.
I had to deal with. Yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. This is overall, it's been pretty solid as each thing has come out, and quite impressive all the way along the way.
Yeah.
And I know it's difficult, and I think in some ways that's good. In some ways it could be, bad because it's difficult for pugs. But I don't know. I've enjoyed the difficulty, and nothing is. I mean, although it's difficult, nothing has really taken us that long to clear. I mean, it's been at most like 2 weeks.
Well, and
learn
I
a
think
boss and
people
get through it.
underestimate. I mean, once a fight, the strats kind of enter the public knowledge. I don't think they're going to be beyond pugs in story mode,
When I think of
or
us
even veteran mode.
doing progression content in the old days, when we were doing hard mode, Thread Fortress, for example, we spent many weeks, 5 weeks, trying to get past Corruptor 0, 4 weeks. So,
Yeah.
this is certainly not progression. Now it is story, but so I don't know. It doesn't seem as hard as as people like sort of make it sound like or.
And part of
calling
it for us
killer.
too is
I don't think it's that bad.
which
might be,
we're
but-
learning it, we're figuring it out and trying to beat it at the same time, where that makes it harder. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because like Dread Fortress, when we did it, it was known. Those fights were all well known.
Right. Yeah. We had the instructions of what we're supposed to be doing, but it was still very, very difficult. Isaac's will be a little bit closer to that, but still not. I don't think that bad. Now that I've gone through it, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, solid work. Great job, Matt Pusevich, who is the designer. I get a big kick out of just a sci-fi themed operation, sci-fi themed group content. Not that it's
Right.
unexpected in Star Wars, but it's less common as you look across the spectrum of games and MMOs in general. So that's why.
Right, and even in this game, there's more mystical stuff like the Dread Masters.
Right.
This is more sci-fi than like Dread Fortress and Dread Palace.
Or Temple of Sacrifice, or a lot of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So this and Terra from Beyond are my top two favorite from a theme perspective because of that that sci-fi feel. Is this the first boss? Yeah, here's the first boss. So we are now up to the first boss, which is the HX. What do I have Kemval on? I should set Kemval to damage. Why did I not have him on damage? Because this God droid will save us all.
Right.
I guess we can just kill it. It does a whole bunch of stuff, but I like lightning and stuff, and you gotta well, seems Seema's not waiting to. Is that a Juggernaut? Did you reroll Juggernaut there, or reroll the Marauder?
Yeah, I rerolled the ladder.
It just kicked that. Did you see it kick that support droid? He like lifted up one of its 3 legs and kicked it across the room. That was pretty hilarious. Ooh. Gear. Yeah, so great job. I'm liking it. And what's your favorite fight out of, I guess, besides Isaac's, what's your favorite fight?
Skyva.
Skyva? Really?
Yeah, Isaac's is not my favorite fight. Yeah.
Skyva's your favorite
I
fight?
mean, I feel like I don't know Isaac yet because I just.
Yeah, no, I would say besides Isaac's, because.
I mean, basically, when we fight, Isaac's. It's as much standing around going, "Oh, how about this? I think it's doing that," as anything, because we're still figuring out, the
Yeah, and we've only
the
done it
mechanics.
once
Yeah.
so far, so for like 10
So
minutes.
maybe Isaac's will be my favorite fight once I figure it out
Yeah, but
what's going on there.
besides Isaac's, I know you don't, but I like Nahut. Yeah, so Rakov and chat room is saying Nahut too, and you that's your least
I
favorite,
don't
isn't it?
I don't dislike Nahut. I don't.
Yeah, I thought you were saying the other
Yeah, I
day.
think they're all pretty good. Yeah.
You said it was Nahut very good.
I was because I wanted to have the two meanings because I was making a joke.
I described to Seema earlier that I had to. We're not going to do the bonus, are we? No, it's just game on.
I don't think we can we?
We did.
Oh, the bonus quest, no.
Just it's like killing lots of things. When my kids were young, I taught them how to make up jokes. Because a little kid will make up a joke that's basically just like saying a fact. Why is it wet outside? Because it's raining. No, well, that's not really funny because that's just like you're just saying facts. So I explained to them that it's jokes are usually funny because there's usually two meanings. They mean two things, and that's what makes it funny. So that's why Seema was saying she was saying something that meant two things. Nahut is his name, and it sounds like you're saying it's not very good. It's Nahut very good. See?
Well, you also told me that one time your son was looking for his sunglasses, and he said, "Where are my sunglasses?" And you said, "I don't know. Where are my dad glasses?"
Did you write these down?
See, two meanings. Sunglasses and sunglasses.
You don't need to explain it to me. I'm loving it. I am loving it. All right. I'm going to jump in on this one. And now we're on the second boss, Major Alvena. I didn't hear. Did she taunt us in some way? Oh, here comes some ads.
Shay Vizsla, she's not happy. She thinks it's all too easy.
All too easy. Oh, that reminds me of another thing before we talk about Isaacs. What is the deal? What is your perspective on the Shay Vizsla versus Nico Okar? Tweet your favorite Team Nico, Team Shay Vizsla. You heard me, say some words about that earlier in the week.
I mean, but they've been doing that for ages.
Yeah, it's fine.
And by that I mean getting people to tweet. So basically, it is like a marketing thing to get some hubbub about the game out there on the internet. So in that respect, I think it's good. I like it. But yes, Max's point that it's like free advertising also.
Free advertising with not even like throwing us a bone, like. And whichever team wins, everybody will get a decoration that matches that team, or yada yada yada. Which they've done that kind of thing in the past. If you're gonna make me
really have they? But not a Twitter.
Yeah, the voting. Well, I mean, the Dark v Light was like, well, which.
But it wasn't on Twitter.
It wasn't a Twitter thing. You're right. But if you're gonna make me do,
I think the fact that it's outside the game
budget.
is why they think. I don't know.
But so like, yeah, I don't know, because they want a whole bunch of people who don't play the game to be also tweeting, and it wouldn't make sense to give them an in-game reward.
No, I think it's more that they don't want to have to keep track of tweets.
But no, that my point wouldn't be only people who tweet get the reward. It would be tweet and then. Well, I mean, they would have to keep some sort of tally, or like make it seem like one of the teams
make it
won.
seem like they kept track.
They could sort of do that in enough of a way that would be somewhat plausible that one team won versus another one, and then everybody gets an extra Nico card decoration or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that possibly, the person that does their social media doesn't have any kind of, budget or resources, and this is
Well, that's sad.
what they came
That
up
makes
with.
me
I
sad
mean,
for that
it
person.
is sad because social media, I mean, love it or hate it, it is a thing. And like I read an article, I don't know, about 6 months ago, where a guy made the comment, if you're a company and you have a presence on Twitter or anything, then you better have customer support. You better have people who respond because that's what people will expect.
Yep.
Is
Right.
that when yeah, and yeah, so I think you got to be careful nowadays what you do with social media. That it can't just be, all right, you social people give to us.
Right.
It's you gotta use it as a tool for so many other, customer facing things as well as customers facing you.
Did those guys just respawn? Did you see that?
No.
They did.
What?
So this Jedi. So we're up to the third boss, Seiken Don Nair, who is what's that race? I forgot what these guys are called. Chat room, what's the race of this guy? They have the mask on and anyway, he's one of those Jedi Master dudes. But he did a weird respawn thing just there for a second. But yeah, I think you're right from the social media perspective. Okay, let's kill this boss, and then I will talk about another boss, which is
I am Jedi, and I will stop you.
I like that sound too. I like that voiceover. Borg is not Borg. Please.
Guide me. Defeat me, and 100 more will come for you.
Remember that time Dumbledore told
And 100 more will come for you.
told Luke Skywalker that he's a wizard? But I'm just Luke. Okay, I think this is... Okay, now we have the communications console, and I think I maybe should turn up the volume. Wait, here, let me turn up the volume before.
Keldor.
Keldor? Yeah, I think you're right. And I have an animated Keldor decoration guy that paces back and forth in my one of my strongholds, which is super cool in my Yavin.
Well, that's what Arjar said in the chat room. That's what it sounds right.
Boarding party. I admit you have us outnumbered and outgunned. You know we're not going to escape.
Then why do you sound so pleased? Because I know something that you do not. I am not left-handed.
You're awfully confident for a woman who knows she's beaten.
This vessel is powered by a Type 4 hypermatter annihilator. Right now, I'm disabling the safeties and rigging it to self-destruct. In a few minutes, you, me, my ship, and half your fleet will be reduced to stardust.
Bad mistake. Disconnect.
Lady, consider yourself a
Lady.
Consider yourself a former member of the
Former
living.
member of the living. Dishes.
Are you threatening me? Why, yes, I am.
Kinda, a little bit, yeah.
Apprentice, do you by any chance have 6 fingers on your left hand? Okay. So now we gotta click all these consoles and kill a bunch of trash. I think I've done this many times. I think you had to do it for some reason. There was some reason you had to do this multiple times. Some achievement or something like that. Anyway, I do remember doing it. I think I've soloed this place back in the old days when we were over-leveled or something. Oh wait, that's just a bonus to disable the reactors. Alright, forget that. I'm not gonna...
Yeah.
I don't need no stinking bonus. Alright, so Isaacs. Isaacs is cool. Isaacs is awesome. One of the things that I've heard a couple of people say is they really wish the decoration or the reward for Isaacs would be to have Isaacs flying around like in the sky above your stronghold or something like that.
Oh,
It would just be super cool because he looks the best when he's flying. He looks like a sea creature of some kind. You know what he looks like to me, which I've said and people didn't get it because maybe they didn't study sea monkeys as closely as I have, but he looks like a sea monkey. Brine shrimp.
yeah, I don't get that.
If you ever had amazing sea monkeys when you were a kid, which I never had when I was a kid. I always wanted, there was like the back of the magazines, at the dentist's office.
Right.
Order sea monkeys. So I got them when I was an adult.
Nice.
I think I ostensibly said, it's for the kids, but my kids were like 1 and 3 at the time. Anyway, I got myself some sea monkeys, and they're brine shrimp is basically what they are, and that's sort of what he looks like. Anyway, he's a very large boss. He's very cool looking, and he has many stages, and it is a long fight. I don't know if he doesn't even have an enrage timer, or the enrage timer is just very, very long, but the fight is designed to go long. And in fact, the design is also not only to go long, but to be hard while it's going long. And when you do it in veteran mode, it's designed to be nearly equivalent to master mode, even though it's only called veteran at the time. Story mode, I think, is still story mode-ish. The fact that I've seen multiple groups get pretty far or get close to killing it now is indicative of that to me, especially with the tricks people are learning along the way. But I think master mode is veteran mode is going to be quite difficult. Another boss here, Lieutenant Maneris. Shut up, Maneris.
I was just thinking about that. Shut up, Maneris.
So the first phase, have you watched any videos of people actually doing Isaacs nowadays that are killing him?
I have.
So have you seen the new way to do phase 1?
Yes.
Which is the tank stands on one side and everybody else stands on the other? Which is so much easier than the way we were doing it.
Right.
And what I'm thinking is for veteran mode you probably can't do that.
Right.
But
I think you might be right, because I think yes, because it certainly seems like the intent of the mechanic is that you're going back and forth.
Right. In fact, I didn't even realize, but I got an achievement for not getting hit by the swipes or whatever. There's an achievement if you don't get hit by any swipes in that phase, and wasn't even really paying attention. It was just that's the way we're doing the fight, and got an achievement for not magically not getting hit. Well,
I love those kind of achievements.
If the tank is just taunts and stands on one side, well then nobody gets hit. Anyway, so Isaac's big square platform. Isaac is standing off to the side and he's swiping with his big claws. And if you don't taunt him, if the tank is not holding aggro and everybody's sort of standing in the middle, then Isaacs will start swiping with either claw, and it's basically random, and it's not just 90 degrees, but it's about 100 or 110 degrees, and you've got 180 degrees to play with. So you really got to sort of swing out of the way of whichever claw is coming. There's a telegraph in story mode, and I think there is no telegraph in hard mode. You just have to watch his hands. And he slams down in the middle sometimes too, but it's pretty cool. Now it's much easier that mode in the story mode. The second phase also seems much easier than again, now that people have it figured out and how to line things up, I think that's going to be easier for us than the time we tried it. In the second phase, the platform opens up and you get kicked out of the shield that's around Isaac's, and you have to knock his shield down to get back in and start damaging him again. So what you need to do is you need to use some of the beam emitters, which was part of the mechanic of the trash leading up to Isaac's. And you need to line those up, and there's beams, there's like power beams and beam emitters, and there's amplifiers. You need to take amplification drones and put them in the beams, and then direct the amplified beams at Isaac's shield, and bang, it knocks the shield down. So you do that, and then is actually an interesting phase, which will be something we'll need to get used to and try out. He has an ability that starts charging his giant, that giant chest laser that he shows in the cutscene.
Right.
He has an ability that's like a 1 second cast that starts. That's like charge my chest beam ability. That you need to interrupt. and it's a long, long phase. It's literally like 6 or 7 minutes, that phase. And while you're doing that, you do it on one side of the platform, you do it on the other side of the platform. The group I did it with had every single person in the group on rotation using their interrupts.
Oh, okay.
So 8 interrupts, because he's doing it basically once every couple seconds. Everyone has to interrupt.
Yikes.
And in fact, my 21-second interrupt, we were coming back around to me, and my interrupt was on cooldown. For the 2 mercenaries, it was quite difficult because we had our 21-second. And that's even with the utility that knocks 3 seconds off the cooldown. Now, you don't have to interrupt every single one. It's just if he gets to 100 stacks, it wipes the group. We had him way low, so we cleared that phase with only like 30 stacks on him, which is quite low. So we could have been missing or skipping interrupts on quite a few more of them than we did. I think this might be the last fight of this operation, or of this flashpoint.
Flashpoint.
So you got to kill the guy with the shield. So we're up to Commander Jorland on the bridge of this ship that we've assaulted. So we've assaulted this Republic ship. And now we're going to kill Chief Massey, who's shielding Commander Jorland, and then we'll kill Commander Jorland.
Alrighty.
But yeah, so you got to do that. You got to coordinate everybody. You get a little bit of a dance going on, and you get through that phase. Then there's a fun phase where the whole platform starts to get covered with missiles. You gotta get through that phase by finding the open spots that are left on the floor and dodge those missiles a few times. So there's like 3 waves of missiles that come down, and then when that's done, another fun phase starts. And in this next fun phase, Skyva shows back up, right? But now, now Skyva's under your control. So what you're doing with Skyva in this phase is you're protecting her because she's reconfiguring the yada yada, which is going to basically help finish the fight for you. And you need to protect her while that happens. And there's little mine droids that come out, and there's tether droids, and you have a lot of those tether anchor abilities on a bunch of people in the operation by that point. Usually on the tanks. The tanks are all that sort of really need to do it, but the tanks can use it to drag her around and kite the mines. But if the tether droids that are spawning use their tether ability on her, it roots her, so you can't yank her away from the mines. So it's a balance of DPS interrupting and killing the tethers and knocking back the mines, because the mines have a lot of health, so it's hard to kill those, and kiting her around and keeping her alive for 2 minutes. And if you keep her alive for 2 minutes, then you get to the final event. And the final event, should I not even tell it to everybody?
I want to hear it.
The final event, so spoilers, shut this off if you just want to discover for yourself. But it is a cruel, cruel last, final 1 second of the fight, which is of this giant square platform that you're on, 95% of the platform then gets covered by a giant telegraph, and everyone needs to run to the edges, and one little sliver of one of the edges is uncovered, and if someone ends up in that little sliver and stays alive, then you win the fight. Otherwise, you wipe.
Wow.
And so the group I did it with, just magically, everybody sort of scattered and had, nobody had really seen that last phase, I don't think yet, but knew there was some deal there that you had to do this thing. Everyone scattered to the edges, and one person ended up in that little sliver and stayed alive.
That's so Matt.
So this picture that I have, that I'm showing back up on the screen now, this is me on the destroyed platform, and if you're anywhere beside the one little sliver that was way in the back here where somebody was standing, you're dead. Boom, you're destroyed, because all of this you end up falling down here, and that's what all this destroyed platform girder is, which is part of the process of killing Isaacs. But we killed Isaacs, and Bob was our uncle, and that was pretty cool. All right, let me boost the volume back up here, and we'll talk to Captain
Yelto.
See if we get to be mean to her. Dark side. See what the dark side choice is. Cutscene showing us rounding up the hostages.
Area is secure. Get the tech team. Shut down the self-destruct.
Blast you. All of you, get off my bridge!
Yeah.
Is this some great victory to you? Using a fleet to capture one ship?
Tell me of your
You were going
destination.
to a space station, the Foundry. I want to know its secrets.
You really don't understand us. I'm not telling you anything, and I'm not begging for the lives of my crew. I know about the massacres of the last war.
All boarding parties report success. Should we begin executions?
Oh boy, here we go. Dark side. Apparently I'm gonna execute everybody. Close your eyes, Seema. Bite the bullet. Gotta be dark side.
Kill them all. Fear will ensure the Empire's strength.
I clicked no. Seema killed him. Oh, this is so sad.
Oh no. Oh.
Bloody work, but necessary. When the operation is complete, we'll broadcast the names and faces of the dead as a warning to the galaxy. More importantly, the cruiser is ours. Preparing it for the assault on the Foundry and its Jedi Master now.
Why the hesitation?
We need to make a few repairs and get a crew in place, but we'll be ready shortly. In the meantime, I offer congratulations and suggest you return to the flagship. Darth Malgus wants to speak to his strike force.
Oh, and you get a deco. Why do I not have this deco? I've done this like lots and lots of times. I have 0 of these science station decos though, so cool. Anyway, I get a deco. So quick wrap up on this flashpoint. Let me bring back up this map again. So here's what's happening. This, in order of story, Terrell 5 and Maelstrom Prison actually happen before Boarding Party and the Foundry happen. And if you play through the Republic side, Terrell 5 is a discovery mission and a fight with the Empire. On the Republic side, that gets them information on this Maelstrom prison, and there's a prisoner there that they've discovered that they want to go and rescue. So then you assault Maelstrom prison. You're not sure who you're rescuing. Nobody really knows, but they know it's a high-value target. You go there, you get to the end, you rescue the target, and it's Revan. And Revan, as you rescue him at the end of Maelstrom prison, tells you, "Idiot, what did you just do?" Because the whole deal was, while Revan was imprisoned, he was sort of mind melded with the Emperor, and using some of his remaining sort of mental fortitude and strength to tamp down the Emperor's aggressive assault on the galaxy.
Yeah, he was holding the Emperor in check.
Yeah, so he's sort of somewhat upset that you did that, but now he's sort of released and he's out there and out and about. So where he goes is, of course, the Foundry, because that was his base of operations. This is the Foundry is where Revan was making some of his assault on when he was sort of dark side. There's sort of a whole backstory to that, but your Boarding Party and Foundry storylines on the Imperial side are getting this ship, figuring out what's up with the Foundry, and then going and assaulting the Foundry. And that then leads to that second part where you go and chase down Revan in the Foundry flashpoint and see what's up there. Which I believe then finishes off the deal with Revan within the main storylines. And then leads you to, then the next time Revan shows up is the Shadow of Revan expansion. When you hear all those creaking, you hear the creaking ship. It is
yeah.
It is quite creaky and loud. They got this old creaky Republic. That's why the Republic lost this battle. They have this old creaky ship. Anyway, so that wraps up Boarding Party, and we didn't embarrass ourselves. In fact, this was very easy. I don't know what our problem was in Kadamimu.
It wasn't solo mode. I don't think there
think
is a solo mode for Academy
Maybe
Moon.
that's what it was. And it was that one fight. It was that one fight that was not companion friendly. So we were basically two-manning a 4-person fight, which you cannot do on that because you need people to be kiting and doing the thing with the other robots. We probably could have done it if we had tried it, but it's also hard to talk and do it. But maybe next week we'll do the Foundry and finish that off, because then we get to see Revan and HK-47, which is not HK-51 or HK-55, which we also do get to see, of course, in the SWTOR universe. So that's this, which is finished off, and we've now finished off. In fact, let me quiet this down for a minute.
Oh, thank you.
We've also finished off talking about Gods from the Machine. And good luck to everyone who's assaulting Isaacs. That is a really cool fight. Now we've got the whole Gods from the Machine operation. Next expansion in 5.9, we're going to get another flashpoint and continuation of the story of the traitor. But we are done with Gods from the Machine. So good job, BioWare, getting that out. Hopefully all of that team that did all the great work on Gods from the Machine has now moved on and is working on the next operation for us. They haven't said anything about that. We don't know for sure, but it should certainly free up some resources, and we know there's some good resources out there. So hopefully that's happening. And I think with that, we can wrap up for this week, and EPC 236 can ship out and broadcast this podcast, which is a little less ranty this week, which I think maybe some people appreciate, at least maybe the people who we directed the rant towards might appreciate. But if you do want to keep up with us for any future rants, you can catch us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitch. And certainly come join us on Starforge and join up with our guild, or check out our guild on aie-guild.org, because that's really why we do this, and we would love to have you guys come and play with us on Starforge. Come join our mandatory fun nights. Come check out our ops teams, or start your own in AIE. Come join AIE as we experiment and play in other games as well. Both Seema and I, separately in 2 different MMOs, are doing other games with AIE. I've been spending a lot of time in ESO lately. But it's quite fun. It's a great place. Come join us. We would love to have you. And we'll talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.